Quiet Fire 88.5 2 Triple R. You can find out more on my Instagram at Quiet Fire Radio. Welcome to Quiet Fire. My name's Jeremy. Today on the show, we have Tasmanian favourites, All the Weathers, who are coming up to our lovely town this weekend for Blurst Fest. I've got on the line now Gigi. Welcome. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am so good. Thank you for coming on the show. It's a great thrill to have you and the band represented on Quiet Fire this week. I've been a fan of you guys for quite a while. We're
excited because, we're so new to Sydney. It's one of those things that we just never got around to. So we're actually excited that you're excited. So
it's very cool. In my show research, I've seen that I feel like you've toured quite extensively, but fairly limited to this part of the country.
Yeah. So Tassie is, as you know, quite isolated and therefore quite expensive to travel interstate to. So we try to do blocks that we can, and for some reason we just never have. Maybe we just didn't know the right people. For some reason we just never got to Sydney. But we're excited that we've been asked to come up for Blurst Fest, and we're going to do it.
And you guys are the headliner act this time. So the last time you were up here, I believe you were supporting TFS. We won't give them the full name on community radio, of course. But you were here for TFS. How was that?
Oh, that was amazing. That was like the biggest tour that we've done so far. And we learned a lot, and it was a lot of fun. And I think it was great to just play places that we have never played before, and with an amazing band and with support acts. It was just awesome. And Sydney was great. It was so much fun to play at the Metro, and that was like our first gig there. So that was awesome. Yeah,
it was very cool. I think that there's a great crossover between the fans or would-be fans of All the Weathers and TFS fans as well. So I guess it would have given you a great amount of exposure. It was a big reason that I kind of found out and started listening to you guys in the first place as well.
Well, that's awesome. So, there you go. Success.
So tell me a little bit about the beginnings of All the Weathers. You guys have been together since 2014, is that right?
Yeah, so, I can't believe it's like, it's basically 6 years. It started off kind of a totally different setup. There's a thing down here which actually sort of started in Melbourne called Little Bands, and Georgia and I were friends at the time, and were kind of both wanting to play some stuff, and then it was an excuse to just play a 15-minute set with 3 new songs, and it didn't have to go any further. But we had another ex-member, Lara, who was also in the band, but then Callum joined the band shortly after, and it just kept on going. And sort of it started originally as just us swapping instruments because we didn't really know what we were doing, and it sort of kept on going that way, and it's just been our thing, and it's still going. We actually we did some vocals yesterday, so we've got a new recording at the moment.
That's cool.
In the role,
So your most recent album for the Worms came out in January last year, and you've toured that quite extensively, and you have had quite a few LPs. I did do my research, I promise you. I couldn't even count how many LPs you had. Is it 4? Is that accurate, or is there a few more?
I don't even know. It's like 4, 6 for gold, Tactile Textiles, and for the Worms. That's 3. And there was like an early release on Bandcamp.
There was sort of a tape lurking around.
You probably know better than I do.
I did do my research, I promise you.
Can you tell me?
I got really into it because the aesthetic that you guys have, and I know that it's not forced or anything like that, but the switching of the instruments and everything being recorded to tape, it really celebrates that DIY aesthetic that really made me fall in love with that kind of genre of punk rock for such a long period of time.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, and like the other two, Callum and Georgia, they live in this art space in Ferntree, which is sort of at the bottom of the mountain of like Kunani. It's sort of this like co-op art space, sort of like old school, and it's just like we have a practice space there, and everything is just sort of in that ethos.
Tell me about the music culture in Hobart. I mean, to some of us mainlanders, there's, of course, the pride of Tasmania, I guess Luca Brasi, who've done so well in recent years. But, they're a long way aesthetically and kind of musically from where you guys are at. Tell me about your music scene.
Well, when I first came to Tassie, so I'm from Brisbane. Like 10 years ago, I moved to Tassie, and I first moved to Lonnie, and I found it really hard to find like a music scene there. And I think that because it's such a small island, and it's only 2.5 hours away, Hobart has got such a more diverse sort of. People would probably disagree with that, but this is just my opinion. But yeah, for me, I was drawn to Hobart, and then meeting Georgia was pretty early on in the whole game, and yeah, it sort of formulated from there, and I moved down from Lonnie, and yeah, I think it's got a darker edge, I think, than to like Brisbane or to like Sydney and sort of the sunnier areas. I feel like it's sort of our Scandinavian black metal version as our Tassie weird, kooky sounds that sort of come, yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that's partially, I was trying to get to the bottom as well of the band name. Is that sort of where the band name came from, that all the Tasmania is all the weathers, and it has such a pronounced effect on the people and the art that comes out of it?
It totally does. Like, it was being in Brisbane, there's no season. When you come here, there's like 6 seasons in a day. It's insane. And I was just having a conversation with Lara like years ago, like, well, we were talking about band names, but yeah, just the weather came up, and it's like, all the weathers, man. And then it's like, hey, that's actually a good name.
It is a good name.
Tassie vibes, and we keep with that Tassie sort of vibe. Summer in Tasmania is also a song.
Now, all the weathers, as well as your most recent label, Rough Skies,
yeah,
really took lead on the Saving the Brisbane Hotel situation. Has that been saved, or can you update me on that situation?
I think it's in the process of being saved, and I think there is some big renovations coming their way pretty soon, if not already. And I think things are going to change there, but I think that the Brisbane is here to stay for hopefully quite some time, because it's an institution, and it would be really sad for that place to go. We actually have written a song called The Briz, and we'll play it for you when we come up. So
I can't wait. For those people who don't know, the Brisbane Hotel is sort of the Hobart equivalent of, say, maybe the Tote in Melbourne. It's an iconic music venue. I mean, we don't have an iconic music venue up here, unfortunately. Well, we didn't say that.
Oh, is it those
maybe the incredible folks at Mothership that you're going to this weekend. I do know the owners of that, and they are running a great space. It's incredible, but it's so fresh. I wouldn't dare say it's iconic quite yet, but they're doing a great job.
Well, I'm excited. Yeah, I have heard really good things about it. So, yeah, we're really stoked to play this.
Do you want to talk to me a little bit more about the music that you were listening to when you sort of started the band? Because for me, there's a lot of emphasis in the blurbs about kookiness and zaniness and musical instrument swapping, but there's a very strong, for me anyway, I really get a suggestion of the Riot Girl aesthetic, particularly those groups that had boy and girl kind of singing back and forth. Was that an influence at all, or is that just something that's come through because
it's sort of something that sort of naturally evolved? Because at the beginning it was 3 of us, like females, and we were doing it then. And then Callum was also we're a small town here, so we swapped musicians and bands. So he was in another band, Treehouse, which is another awesome band from Hobart. And he just brought another edge, and we're all capable of doing things. So, we can all play the instruments, we can all sing. So we all have our own styles, and I think that's what makes all the weathers. That it doesn't really matter, who we are. It's just like what comes through it. And there's different energies and different vibes and the different configurations, which makes it awesome too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. How does the local cultural scene feel about the transplanted cultural scene that happens twice a year down there with the giant mofo festivals and that kind of thing? Is that something you get involved in, or you feel separate from?
No, we do a lot with Mona. Like, it is a great opportunity for a lot of artists from everywhere, and they do incorporate a lot of local artists to play regularly, which is a great thing for for us down here, because making living wage is pretty impossible in general, but they are very generous, which is awesome. It does, I think, just in general, the Mona effect, I should say per se, it just has changed Hobart, and it's for good and for bad, I guess. It's a small town which is sort of at capacity now. We have like a major rental crisis, and jobs are a bit dismal at the moment. So people are starting to stress out. So I think it is just a small town that's getting really big because it's awesome. Yeah, it has pros and cons for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hobart's become one of the most expensive parts of the country now, unfortunately, hasn't it?
Yeah. As we speak, we're moving out of a property in Moona, and they just jacked the rent up like $50 each time, and it's just become unsustainable. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful share house, but it has to go now. So
that's a real pity.
Yeah.
Whilst the music is obviously the major part of what you guys do, there's small bands. You guys have to be involved in the creative process on every level. So there's obviously, you guys have a really strong aesthetic with your album covers and the music videos that have come out. Are they collaborative efforts with local artists, or is that something you guys do yourself?
Yeah, everything is basically done ourselves. Like Georgia Lucy, she's like an incredible artist, and we all are pretty creative. So like we'll get an idea and we'll just make it happen. And Georgia sort of drives a lot of the design and things, and it's great. And that's what kind of makes it. We all sort of collaborate. Like we'll all hand make covers and do our own different things because that's just how it is. So.
No, it's very cool. So the other thing that I've noticed as well that you, along with the activism for the Brisbane Hotel, is that sort of charity work and activism is a really core fundamental part of All the Weather's sort of musical output. Can you tell me a little bit about that over the last few years?
Yeah, so a lot of we do a lot of fundraisers and a lot of political issues. We've done, things in Parliament lawns for different rights, for, female medical rights, and just things that are just basic necessities and rights that the government just don't want to really provide to the people, which is really sad. And obviously the environment is very much on our minds, and at the moment, the Tarkine is being logged, and it's just incredible the lack of momentum or care that the government has towards these issues. And we're doing another fundraiser to support legal teams to fight this, because it's basically World Heritage Area being selectively logged. And, things like this are very passionate to us. And, the cable car on Kanani is another contentious issue. So, we write this into our songs. All these things get put in our songs.
It's such an important part of all of the art that comes out of Tasmania. Whilst you've got that really strong Gothic edge, and there's obviously a really dark history to the place, it's so beautiful, and politics has always been at the forefront. I mean, Tasmania has become, in years past, has become the sort of training wheels of laws before they come to the mainland as well.
Yeah.
I remember going down there about 10 years ago, and it was the first place in Australia you couldn't smoke anywhere, and I was like, oh, this is just, it was absolutely crazy. But
what are they doing?
What are they doing? For a left turn, though, who was the first person in the band who began with the saxophone?
That would be me, yes. That would be my childhood sax from year 5.
So,
that would be me playing it, probably.
Who was your original teacher?
Gosh. Her name was Mrs. Elliott, and she was such a bitch. She made me cry, and it was at this, really gnarly Christian school, and she actually almost scared me out of it, but then I changed to a public school, and I had Mr. James, and he was 26. I played in a ska band. I've admitted it. Yes, I used to play in a ska band when I was 16 and play the saxophone.
So tell me a little bit about what we can expect with the new album. Is there a similar direction or a change of direction?
They're just songs that we collate a lot of songs because, at times we kind of get, pretty creative, and we might burst out 5 songs, and we've kind of got 11 songs that have just been on the go since we recorded the last album. So at the moment, we're just sort of doing a little album, maybe just a little snippet. We're not sure even what we're going to do with it, but it's pretty exciting because Callum is actually studying audio engineering at the con, and he's actually amazing. So we just produced and recorded our album ourselves, and it's going to sound great, I think.
The places that you choose to record are sort of part of the All the Weather's legend as well, aren't they?
Yeah. So, like, yesterday we recorded the vocals at a very beautiful lady called Jane Gadd, and she's 84 and lives in Franklin, which is in the hills near the river in the Huon Valley. And we just recorded in her, like, little shed, and it was actually perfect. And it was just a beautiful day and in the country, and that's how we do it. We do it, like, really nice.
Well, It is. It's absolutely living the dream down there in Hobart.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful part of the country.
Yeah, it is. And, yeah, just all the around, like, I don't even know Tassie. Like, there's just so much. There's so much to see, and there's so many beautiful things.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So you're living in Hobart now. You were living in Launceston, but you've now moved to Hobart, right?
Well, I'm moving to Glen Huon. I'm building a little place, and so yeah, I'll be living down there very soon. So that'll be in the valley, about 50 minutes south of Hobart.
Absolutely beautiful. I'll have to come and visit. That sounds really great.
Yes, you'll have to. It's beautiful. Yes, definitely come and stay.
Gigi, it's been an absolute joy to speak to you. Thank you so much for coming on Quiet Fire this afternoon.
No worries at all. Thank you so much for having me.
If I was interested in coming this weekend, where would I find out more information?
If you go to Facebook, and Blurst Fest is the event name. I wouldn't know the link, but I reckon if you find that, and it's at Mothership Studios, and if you maybe just like look around the All the Weathers page, you might find something else that we'll be playing at. So keep your eyes peeled.
That's right. Use your favorite search engine. Type in All the Weathers. Alternatively, if you can't do that, you can always follow me on Instagram at Quiet Fire Radio. I'll be posting some updates for that festival this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really, really great time. Gigi,
it'll be awesome to meet you.
It'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Not a problem. Have a great evening.